How's it going? I'm going to be ranking every 2024 movie that I saw in 2024. Disclaimer, there's a lot of them, and also this does not reflect that I think that these movies are necessarily better than the other ones. I mean, in most cases, that's kind of true, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that I enjoyed them more, I favor them more highly, I like them more, I prefer them, and, other things. And I will be leaving this list in the description, so you don't have to watch this full video, but if you want an explanation of why certain movies are lower and higher and all that, then obviously you want to watch the video. And using the little scrub feature on YouTube, as I'm sure you're familiar with, you can go to whatever ranking you like. Each side's going to look something like this. And no, that is not an exaggeration. There are 91 films on this list. So I'll try and go as quickly as possible because it's probably going to take me over a minute to describe each one. So let's get it. Anyway, number 91, the worst movie that I believe that I saw in 2024 is Drive-Away Dolls. Just a bad movie, Continuity mistakes, the story wasn't good, the performances weren't, anything good. Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon were fine. And Margaret Qualley is, she has a history of good and bad work. So, but it, so it's not great at all. Number 90, we got Argyle. Not a great movie. I mean, same thing, really, just kind of lame action sequences. Not great performances, dumb scenes, bad story. The usual suspects. Number 89, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Sorry. Ghostbusters Afterlife is an amazing film that almost rivals the original Ghostbusters. The film that it's a sequel to, obviously. And this film is trash. Is garbage that I wipe my shoes with, or on, or whatever the case may be. And it's not funny. It doesn't really strike any nostalgic feelings of watching any of the other films. And it's the villain is also bad, and story is bad, and the movie is bad. So yeah, not a fan. Just a disgrace to the entire Ghostbusters franchise. And yeah, 88, Madam Web. We all saw it coming. It's just a bad movie. Again, bad story, bad acting, bad action, bad everything. Bad movie. Sorry, Sony. Number 87, The Idea of You. And I guarantee that there is not a single individual watching this video that has heard of every movie that is on this list. So just, about that. And also, I don't think there's a single person that's going to guess what my number one is. But we'll see how it goes. Okay. Number 87. I'm taking a lot of time. The Idea of You. You basically get to watch the same three movies that you've already seen because it's just like a romantic comedy. Three separate times they break up and they get back together, and then they break up and they get back together. It's spoiler alert that like you care, but yeah, just not my thing, and not even executed well. So there you go. Number 86, Miller's Girl, with Jenna Ortega. A movie that thought that it was like so deep and just absolutely was not at all. Mainly for the purpose of the writer of the movie calling their own writing like brilliant writing, and it's not, and it's just kind of lame, and it's also not very well marketed. I mean, it was marketed based off of Jenna Ortega's performance, quote unquote. So not a great film. Doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's also kind of small. Like I don't even when they're like outside, it just doesn't really feel like it goes anywhere. I guess it had a small budget, but anyway. 85, Strangers Chapter 1. Now, this movie was never meant to rival the original Strangers. And honestly, I didn't think that it was that bad. I thought it was kind of overhated before I watched the original Strangers from 2008 with Liv Tyler. And then I realized, okay, maybe people have a point. It's not that great. But it was never meant to rival that. It's meant to just set up the next movie. And now, if that movie sucks, then this movie is even worse off. But it's a it's a fun watch. It has some things to offer. I mean, the masks are more detailed. I don't know, but yeah, it's okay. Not great. Megalopolis at 84. Um, I mean, a cool looking movie and a cool world that it takes place in. Not necessarily well delved into, not well built. The world building is off, that kind of thing. But it's a fun one to be in. So, some of the shots are kind of cool, but the story and performances are not good. So yeah, number 83, Night Swim. Um, had me searching for the brightness on my TV. I mean, like, why is it so dark? I have no idea. And then it's also just bad. It's forgettable. It was based on a short film and was never meant to be adapted into a feature film, but here we are. And it bombed at the box office for those curious. All right, 82, Self Reliance. Arguably not that great. I mean, Jake Johnson and the director and actor in this movie, or of this movie, depending which title you give him, um, it's just kind of dumb. I mean, it's not that funny. There's kind of some useless cameos of his friends and things in it. It's okay. It's not. It's forgettable. Right? It came out in the beginning of the year, so it's just okay. Number 81, Godzilla vs Kong, or Godzilla X Kong. My mistake. The New Empire, not to be confused with the Frozen Empire. That's Ghostbusters. No, but I mean, it's a fun movie to watch, sure, but I mean, obviously the story and performances again are lacking in every area, not just some areas, every area. There's little to ponder about this film. You watch a I don't remember if it's Godzilla or Kong that throws sand in the other one's eyes, but it's and following in the footsteps of Godzilla -1 as well is just fantastic. So yeah, just not a great movie, but visual effects wise, I guess it's okay. But even then, I mean, it's just not that. It's just kind of fun. Like it's entertaining, but it's not good. So, number 80, Bob Marley One Love. I mean, forgettable, obviously, and then not necessarily made for me, right? I mean, reggae music. When have I ever listened to reggae music? Probably since I've seen this movie, right? That would be one of the only times. And it's a cool story, and the performance of Bob Marley is not bad. So, it's got that going for it. But, you know, there have been better movies, especially this year. So, We'll move on. Number 79, the Garfield movie. The jokes in this movie are a little I don't know, old, I guess, to be for children, and but like the humor is a little immature for an adult. So I don't really know who this movie was made for. Um, I don't know, people that like lasagna, I guess. And he also Garfield has a dad and things. It's just not really what I would want from a Garfield movie. As someone that watched the Garfield cartoon back in the day, not really a fan. So yeah, number 78, Mean Girls, the musical adaptation. Well, it's based on a play that's based on the 2004 movie, Mean Girls. I'm not a big musical person, and I don't really think that this was a movie or musical that needed to be adapted. Um, so there's that. But I mean, it's if you think you would like it, you probably would. So have fun with that. All right, number 77, Boy Kills World. A great world that they established in this, and if they made a sequel, which based on box office performance and just overall liking, probably it's not going to happen. But if they did, I feel like a sequel would be a lot better. But this movie, it's just like the twist is odd and I don't know, weird, and the action sequences are um, action sequences, but they're I mean it's okay. I mean it's not it's not a terrible movie by any stretch. It's just not good, great movie, but it's fine. I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad that somebody got this out of their system, and maybe I'll even rewatch it someday. Especially if they make a sequel. If they make a sequel, that could be good. So, but you know, or just something in the world of this, would be kind of cool. But we'll keep going. This could be a little controversial. 76, Inside Out 2. I saw the original Inside Out in theaters. Right. Thought that it was all right then. I rewatched it before I watched this one. Thought it was all right now, and well, here's a sequel to it that nobody asked for. And Riley's 2 years older. What has changed? Not really a whole lot. And it, kind of changes the continuity of the first movie, and all these other problems that I have with it. Now, the movie itself is, it's funny. It's a kids movie. Also, I had a pretty bad theater experience with it. A lot of noisy kids, rowdy people in the theater. So just not really, all that. Sometimes a movie reaches you at a certain point in your life, and you'll see that later on this list, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm glad I saw that at this time. This just, I was just not really in the mood for seeing a good movie at this time, and so I, kind of went into it closed-minded, and I'll probably not watch it again, unless they make an Inside Out 3. Oh, heaven forbid! Oh my god. But yeah, maybe they will, and I'll watch it again, and I'll think it's fantastic or something. But it's just to me, it's not all that great. Number 75, Salem's Lot, the remake. Honestly, I feel like the only reason that this film is any good is because of the source material. Did it need to be remade? Absolutely not. Was it a good remake at all? No. But is it kind of an interesting story? A little. I mean, it was fun watch. Watched it during Halloween. Had a little scary element to it. But it's about it, really. I mean, it's just a horror movie that exists and has a vampire in it. So cool. Number 74, It's What's Inside. Now this isn't a bad movie by any stretch, but it's a Netflix original. It's advertised as a horror movie, but it's absolutely not. Um, and it's it's there. I mean, it's a body swap movie turned into like a drama, thriller kind of type thing with a twist at the end. You know, again, there are better movies, especially this year. Great year for horror, which this isn't, but advertised as such, I guess. But it's okay. It's, it's not bad, but it's just not that memorable, or and the performances aren't that memorable either, especially for a body switching thing where you do have to play multiple characters convincingly. It's not always done in this movie, but you know, it's okay. 73 Lisa Frankenstein. Um, again, not a bad movie, but it struggles to keep me invested in the characters that go around murdering people. So other than that, the ending also is a little, like just it doesn't really fit the vibe of the movie. But other than that, solid uh, film, I guess. I don't know. If you think you'd like it, you probably like it. That's it. 72. This is gonna take a while. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Pretty solid action flick. I mean, Guy Ritchie is one of the best to ever do it in the action genre. Obviously, this isn't meant to be a movie where you have to think a whole lot. There's also a Mexican lady playing a Jewish lady who is Jewish in real life. You know what I mean? And it's a little odd. So it's not like a great movie, but it's okay. I mean that's all it needed to be at the end of the day. Okay, Hitman at number 71. This again is a little controversial, I know, but I just like basing it on a true story, but then also making all of that up and then admitting to it. I mean, I found it a little dumb. And I mean a lot. I mean, for it to be based on true story, I found like the whole thing kind of dumb. But it was a fun movie to watch. I mean, Glenn Powell is making a name for himself and all that, and I appreciate it. And he did so with this movie. So did Adria Arjona. I don't know how you say her name. I apologize, but it's a good movie. But it's could have been better, I guess. I don't know. Number 70, The Watchers by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, which it's as a whole movie, it is better than M. Night Shyamalan's movie that came out this year, but we can talk into that later. But as, like comparing it to the entire movie of Trap, but then individual like scenes and acting and performances and all that, I do think Trap has the edge over this. That's why it's so much lower. Um, performances aren't particularly strong, but the twist is pretty good. The story is, I mean, it is pretty good, but there are a lot of plot conveniences, like them suddenly finding the hole in the ground. Obviously, spoiler alert there, but there are a lot of plot conveniences, things that happen by happenstance, and it's but it never struggles to be an interesting film to scare you and all that kind of stuff. And it's a cool twist, even if it's not necessarily a memorable monster that ends up being the villain of the movie. But yeah, it's a solid film. Number 69, Fly Me to the Moon. Again, based on a true story, but not really. It's kind of funny, kind of dumb, kind of silly. Um, that's about all you got. I mean, you know, solid Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson performances in this, but it's okay. All right, 68 Brats. This is our first documentary. Um, and this is a solid documentary. I mean, it's an interesting thing that a lot of previous generations would be interested in. not necessarily me, but, wasn't really made for me, was it? So, took that into account, put it up there. At number 68, it's pretty good. So, not as good as the Michael J. Fox documentary though from last year. That was pretty good. 67, It Ends With Us. Now this I couldn't really say is a good movie. Parts of it were good, and it had a pretty cool trailer. But I didn't read the book, right? I know that somebody that did, and they really enjoyed this movie. So, again, I had to take that into account, and I put it at 67. I feel like that's, the highest it really could have gone, with a lot of, things that are wrong with it, like dialogue and story and lack of chemistry between certain actors and things. So, yeah. It's number 66, Reagan. A cool story, but most of the good writing is just based on, real things that Ronald Reagan actually said. Other than that, the narrator is just absolutely abhorrent, and the performances aren't that great, and the cinematography is, non-existent, really. I mean, it's just, there's no interesting shots in this thing whatsoever, and the special effects / CGI are not that great. But again, the story is cool. I mean, Reagan was, um, you know, a historically interesting person with a, that people need to know about, and this movie, gets people to know about it, and it's a fun story to watch, even if it's not that well made. So, you number 65, Venom, um, Venom 3. And it might be confusing that I talk trash of movies that are higher than ones that I say are pretty solid or pretty good, but in my head, it just, like, even if I complain about it, like, there's something wrong with the other one that I just can't really articulate with words, or just rub me the wrong way or whatever. But yeah. So yeah, this movie, and Venom doesn't really show up that much in it, but I mean, it has some solid, emotional parts with Eddie and all that. I mean, there is a Paul Walker style Furious 7, When I See You Again, tribute to a CGI character in Venom over here. But other than that, it's doesn't, lean too much into silliness. Now, it's not like the rest of the trilogy. It's actually pretty bad. But no, it's okay, for a finale to whatever Venom was. So, yeah, it's okay. 64, number 64, we got Skincare with Elizabeth Banks. Just a, indie film that you may not have heard of. And it's, it's got some pretty solid parts. Now, it's a little small, obviously. It lacks a lot of, um, big budget films, or even mid budget film staples that you might be used to, which is why it's so low. But it's got some pretty cool parts. Um, so yeah, pretty good. Number 63, we got Knox Goes Away. This is actually pretty. Again, you may not have heard of this. I don't know, but it was okay. I mean, it's guy with dementia fighting people, so it has its its good parts and its bad parts, right? But it's, I mean, Michael Keaton, he doesn't really falter. I think he directed it. Now I think about it, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, pretty good little film. Now it is lower than this other Michael Keaton film here, Beetlejuice, and that is mainly just because of I just like the style of Beetlejuice, a little bit more. You know, I like that it's shot like the original. It uses the same effects as the original. You know, there's a lot of practical elements to it and things. The story is a little lacking, but you know the performances are Tim Burton-y, and you kind of know what to expect and things with Tim Burton and all that. So you know, pretty pretty okay, pretty solid. Did I skip one? I did. Uh, 61, Craven the Hunter. Now, what is so funny about this is that this movie is actually so much better than anything that has come out of the, Sonyverse, whatever you want to call it, the Spider-Man villain universe that Sony has created. Like this, I mean, this is like on par, if not better than Venom 1 and Venom Let There Be Carnage. And it bombed at the box office. Like, that is how bad Sony has been with Morbius and Madam Web and Venom 3, and I mean the list goes on, that they actually make something somewhat decent, which is why it's number 61, and it still just absolutely flops. But yeah, I mean this was a cool comic book movie. I mean, in the traditional sense. I mean, it's probably on par with what the MCU comes out with um, recently. I mean, besides, like Deadpool and Wolverine, but like, think 2023 Marvel MCU, this is like on par, if not better. So, Sony got there in the end, but they did have to reshoot a bunch and delay it a couple times. So, maybe they didn't really do that well. And it also bombed in the end anyway. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen Craven, you should check it out, and maybe it'll probably be on Netflix at some point. So feel free to watch that. I kind of recommend it. Now, obviously, it's not that good, right? But it's still, if you like, Marvel things, then you might like it. I don't know. All right. Number 60, we got Blue Angels. Now, I did not see this in IMAX, but I saw it on Prime Video, which is, not really the same at all. But I'm not the biggest Blue Angels fan, but it was an interesting thing, and it was well made. And that's enough to get it a number 60 spot. So there you go. Number 59, you may not have heard of this. Goodrich, again with Michael Keaton. This was just a nice. Now parts of it weren't all that, good. But there are a lot of emotional things, and you may even cry watching this movie, and it is not even that great. Which I guess Michael Keaton does have a pretty good reputation for that. I mean, he's known for things like Beetlejuice and Batman and all that, but he has some like emotional movies that have like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. And I guess I don't know, maybe that's just his typecast now, but yeah, but dude, my voice is like, oh my gosh, like leaving me while I'm making this. Okay. Number 58, Sonic 3. We're getting into some good movies here, right? Um, I mean, it's a solid, kids movie, action movie. It's got, it's funny, it's entertaining, of course, right? It's faithful to comic books, to the video game lore and all that stuff. And it's just it's a solid film. It's a solid movie about two CGI hedgehogs fighting each other. I mean, take that description and make the best possible version of it, and boom, there you go. So yeah. Number 57, you may not have heard this one either. Scoop, about King Charles, I believe, and Jeffrey Epstein and their meeting. And This movie honestly like is really only so high. Well, I mean, it is just a good movie, like all around. I mean, performances and everything. But there's one line in this movie, and if you've seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it involves like it's basically what the entire movie is leading up to, and it's just absolutely like perfection. And you really do need to see this one. It's a Netflix original, so it's not going anywhere. I saw it when it came out, and it's really interesting. Um, and yeah, great performances from everybody involved, and yeah, so recommend it. Oh yeah, poster man. Okay. Longlegs. Now this movie had the potential to be the best horror movie of the decade so far, right? And then they show Nicolas Cage's character too much, and then they have a big exposition dump at the end, and it's like, okay, well, there goes that. And then it ends up 56 on a list of 91 movies, and so it's just not all that fantastic, given all that. Now, of course, all the performances are great and the cinematography is great, but yeah, it's left a little to be desired, but still good in the end. Number 55, we got Trap here. Now, this movie, I'm a big Josh Hartnett fan and a big M Night Shyamalan fan. Just unlike most people, right? But and this movie is pretty good for the most part. And then he leaves the stadium, and you're like, okay. But then some cool things happen after that, but then he gets, tased, and then there might be a sequel, and it kind of it's a roller coaster with it being good and bad and all that. And the performances are pretty good. I mean, especially the actual stage performances. And so yeah, it's pretty good. Number 54, we have Cuckoo. This was actually you may not have heard of this either, but Hunter Schafer. Great horror movie here. I mean, honestly, I mean, great horror film here. But if it had not been for the like design of the villain so much, it honestly like if it had just been like that little bit scarier, it might have broken top 50 or whatever the case may be. But again, it left a little to be desired. Left a little to be desired, and it could have been better, but it was still pretty good. 53, got The Apprentice. Now, this is a very controversial film, obviously. And of course, saying that this is not this is like an educational film and it's not just meant to be at the detriment of the president is complete bullcrap, okay? You don't release a movie where the president, somebody, during the election and for the purpose of informing the public, right? That being said, the movie is pretty good, I'll admit. Performances are stellar. The story is, or at least what's true, is pretty stellar, and it's a you know as a movie, it's pretty cool, pretty good. Anyway, number 52 we have here. Now, there's been a rumor going around that Robert Zemeckis cannot make good films anymore, and I don't believe it. Okay, and this being apparently being one of them. But I don't really think that it's a movie made for young people at all. You know, I mean, it's meant to be, for people that have lived, that long life and have experienced things like the two main characters here, and can relate to it more. Right? It was made for those people. It wasn't really even made for me. But yeah, you just have to look at it through a certain lens, and then you might enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Um, so yeah, maybe you will too. I don't know. All right, number 51, I Saw the TV Glow. This is a great movie. Um, from production design to performance to writing to all that. I'm just not. I'm a little icy on the message of it. I'm not totally in agreement. Or you know in coercion. I don't know. In agreement. I mean, right. But yeah, it's just a great movie with a that didn't really speak to me in the way that a lot of other movies on this list had. Okay, number 50, we got Kneecap. This is another great movie. That's got a pretty low budget, but yeah, I mean like it's a true story film, and the characters in the movie are played by the real people, and it talks about real problems that are happening in the world, and that's all cool, and that's good. And it's a good movie, and you should watch it. All right. Number 49, we got Love Lies Bleeding. Again, production design, performances are fantastic. It's just you know parts of it I like, parts of it I didn't like. So there you go. Okay, yeah, we got another controversial pick here. Number 48, Joker 2. Some people might think this is low. Some people might think it's high. I think that it's perfect. No, it's but I think that this is at its roots. This is a good movie, and people have really overhated it to its bones. And I can't really explain. I mean, it's got 10 out of 10 performances and 10 out of 10 cinematography and all that good stuff, and it's characters that we know and love. And I just don't think people really understood it. I don't think people really got it, and I want to share a Letterboxd review that I found by someone called Totally Awesome, all one word, on Letterboxd, and I just thought that this review was amazing. I'm not going to read it aloud to you, but you can pause it and look at it if you would like, and I highly encourage that you do because it will change your perspective on this movie, 100%. So check this out. All right, there you go. So feel free to pause for that. Okay, number 47, Immaculate. Just a fun movie with a good little um, twist, I guess, or I don't know, motive behind the villains, I guess. A good kind of a mystery, but yeah, just a good movie. I liked it. It's not for everybody, but okay. Also, have you guys ever seen this poster before for this movie? I have never seen this poster, and I've known about this movie for a pretty good while. Anyway, carry on at number 46. Just a solid action movie, on the tails of your diehards and your lethal weapons and things, classic Christmas movies. And but yeah, it's pretty good. Jason Bateman as the villain is, a welcomed concept. So I liked it. It was fun. A lot of the action sequences are cool. I mean, there's characters that you don't really care about and things, but who cares? I do. At number 45, we have this movie. I could say it. I'm not scared of it or anything, but I just, I don't want that to be like a sound clip or anything. But yeah, again, a movie that, wasn't really made for males. A good comedic performance by Amy Adams, and it's just all thing. Of course, I factored in like the reaction of the person I watched it with, which was my mother, and she enjoyed it, and the writing was good, and all that, and so yeah, 45, pretty good. Number 44, we got Snack Shack, great movie. Is it 80s or 90s? I can't remember, but yeah, great production, and you really kind of care for the main characters and their relationships and things, and it's a pretty solid film. I liked it. Number 43, we have MaXXXine. Now, it may not be as good as Pearl or X, or even, some of the slashers that it is based on. But it's still a pretty good movie. Alright? With, I don't know, Maya Goth, who is just a horror icon at this point, Scream Queen, I guess you would say. And, yeah, that was pretty good. At number 42, we got Wolves, which is another pretty overhated film. So I mean, just a solid action movie. I mean, it's based on one character from Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel's character, the Wolf. Um, and yeah, it's just funny little action comedy type thing, and the kid in this movie gives a really good performance also. But yeah, it's pretty good. Check it out if you haven't. At number 41, we got Heretic. Um, a philosophical little horror flick that is pretty darn good. Yeah. I mean, now there are kind of some problems and things with it, and holes in his religious debates, and things like that. But you know, it's a thought-provoking little horror film, and we love it for that. Number 40, we got Speak No Evil. I mean, James McAvoy is good in everything he's in, right? And this included, pretty solid little horror film, um, for what it is, and it's quite simple too, but it's well done, and and all that. So fun. Number 39, we got Y2K, another great horror film. I'm a big fan of technology coming to life and sort of amalgamating and trying to destroy people, and like hardware or G-force. I mean, if you want to get really weird, but you know some great films in that sort of genre, and the 2000s 90s backdrop helps it all the same, uh, and yeah, good stuff. 38, we got Blink Twice. Couldn't find a vertical poster for this one on Google, but all the same, great performances, great story. Channing Tatum really delivers with this one. I mean, like, his monologue towards the end is pretty darn good. But other than that, it's just a solid film. So yeah. 37, we got Emilia Pérez. Um, uh, a musical about the cartel. I understand the meaning behind it. But I think broadening that to being what you want to be without compromising any part of yourself. That's something I could get behind. I'll give it that, right? And it's well made, and it's well acted. So good film. Number 36, Late Night with the Devil. Now this could have been in the top 10, right? But they just the CGI little electricity, and then they use the AI generated posters. I mean, I couldn't go any higher. I mean, that kind of that was bad what they did, you know. But this was one of those movies that reached me at a good time. You know, I had been watching like Craig Ferguson and things, not like the old late night shows that they talk about in this, like Johnny Carson and things, but still, I'm a big fan of the late night show format, talk show format, and I think it works, or it did, but now it's become something else, and I think a horror movie, centered around that setting, or centered in that setting, it was a good idea and is good, and David Dastmalchian, if I believe that's how you say his name, gives a great performance, and it's scary when it needs to be, and yeah, I mean it could have been so much better, but keep it going. Number 35, we got Smile 2, one of the best sequels just to come out this year, based solely on how much it superseded the original. I mean, the original is that's a pretty standard horror movie. I mean, it's just based on I mean, it is based on a true thing actually, but it's just based on the idea of people smiling in a sinister way is scary, right? But this kind of it elevates it in such a natural way, and it really just it's fantastic. I mean, it could not be better. Honestly, I mean, it's well, I mean, then the ending is a little cheap and how it all kind of shakes out, but it's a good movie, honestly, and good performances too. So, number 34, we got Civil War. Honestly, I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but I guess it did. Um, just a good movie. I mean, it it's well made and all these things. Well acted, of course, and now it of course deals with some politics and things, but still pretty good. Number 33, we got Twisters. Good trailer. No, it's a good movie as well. It really is just like a gender swapped remake of the original. I mean, in the original, you have a guy that's in a love triangle with two girls, and this one you have a girl that's in a love triangle with two guys, and yeah, I mean it just elevates the original pretty much, makes it modernizes it pretty well, and yeah, it's a pretty solid movie. Number 32, we got Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, if you think that this is like one of the best films ever made, then I'm sorry to say it's a comic book movie with you know cameos and it's funny, right? It's funny. That's its main claim to fame. And by golly, does it work? I mean, it is entertaining. It is funny. It is funny, and it's just a good movie. I mean, it's a solid film. And it came out this year, and I have a T-shirt. I have a T-shirt with the logo on it. So yeah, now you know that, and it's pretty good. Number 31, we got Challengers. Great movie, great performances, great story, great ending. But not totally. Like I'm not a big tennis freak. I'm not a big threesome freak. but but it's still a good movie. Number 30, we got Am I Racist? The Daily Wire documentary. Just a really funny movie that a lot of people should see and things. kind of pranky but informative and things. And yeah, and I watched it with a bunch of my friends that I have, and a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds laughing about a documentary, right? I mean, how often does that happen? So for that, it's pretty darn good. All right, number 29, we got Woman of the Hour. Great movie. You know, that Netflix picked up, and it's yeah, it's just a solid film that where the main character was never really in danger. So there's that, but but it's still good. Number 28, we got The Substance. This is just such a no-brainer of a good movie. It really is. I mean, of course, performances and cinematography are all fantastic, right? But you would think that there would be like a women's body positivity movie in the form of a body horror film. You would think that that would already exist, and to be fair, it might. I mean, David Lynch, is punching the air right now, but yeah, I mean, it's just it was designed to be good, and it was executed extremely well, and that's the most you can ask for. All right, number 27, we got Small Things Like These. Really flew under the radar. Cillian Murphy movie, especially. Um, just, I'm kind of blanking on things to say because I keep saying, good acting and and well made, but I mean that's just what they are, man. That's all it takes, really. So yeah, Cillian, of course, did a good job, and yeah, it is good things, good scenes. I don't like what do I say? Number 26, we got Conclave. Uh, Good movie. Ralph Fiennes, does a good job. And so does the supporting cast, and it's got a good story, a good little twist at the end. It's got a little bit of it's got some I don't know, dynamic scenes, I guess you could say. Not really action scenes, right? But it's got some entertaining stuff in it, especially since it's a lot of talking, and you do kind of feel invested in the outcome of the film, and I like it. All right. Number 25, we got A Real Pain. Just some great performances, a great story, um, and kind of informative as well. And yeah. Number 24, we got Late. Now this might be the biggest surprise of the year. I honestly I had no expectations for this movie going in. I mean, I had seen the trailer. Obviously, I keep on top of these kind of things pretty well, and I had seen it. I just thought every now and then, there's a movie that comes out that has like one famous actor in it, and then it's like it's a war movie about World War II, like One Life, like the Anthony Hopkins movie that came out this year, right? Like that. It's not like like you would go see that, like, but you knew that it existed. But then Andy Samberg's in the trailer as well, and you're like, okay, now two famous actors. Now that hold on, now you're cooking with oil, right? And so it's on Hulu, and I watch it, and by golly, it's a good movie. I mean, like it's got subplots and things that are good. It's got a good ending. It's got terrific performances and people that I didn't even know were in it, like Marion Cotillard, I think, and Luke Skarsgård, and Josh O'Connor, and all these great people, and a good story, and all these things, and it's not bad. and it's really good. And I yeah, it's great. Okay, number 23 we got Maria. We had Angelina Jolie. This one apparently got a lot of love from many people. Now I'm not a big opera guy now, I'll admit, but you know these last 7 days of an opera singer sort of coming to accept that she's going to die, I guess, and that she's just trying to become herself again before she goes. It's a good concept, and I like it a lot. All right, number 22 we got Wicked. Now, I mean, of course, this is an amazing movie. I'm sure that you've seen it, right? The only reason it's not higher, I'm not a huge musicals guy, so I couldn't break it into the top 20. I'm sorry, it just didn't fit, just the way it all worked out. But it's still an amazing film, and it still deserves all the love it's getting, and all the money it's making, and all the sequels it's getting, and all that. But yeah, so good movie. Number 21, we got Strange Darling. Fantastic film. Miramax produced this year, and it's just, just really is a great film with a great twist. And I mean, if you haven't seen it, this is probably the one I would recommend the most of any of them, because this is just a great movie that you're bound to enjoy. So why deprive yourself, right? I mean, I saw it in theaters. You don't have that option anymore, but you should still watch it. So, all right, top 20. We got A Quiet Place Day 1 at number 20. Again, just a solid movie with a solid premise, and it's a prequel to a already good little franchise, and yeah, terrific performances and everything as well. Great, spectacular film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes at number 19. I mean, it's really just everything you loved from the original trilogy. Well, not the original, but the Planet of the Apes trilogy from the 2010s, right? It's everything you loved about that, but you've got new characters to fall in love with. You've got a new surrounding, so it's fresh and new and interesting, and it's just great. I mean, it's just fantastic. Number 18, we got The Fall Guy. Of course, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. It's fun, and it's a love story, and it does its job, and it's good, and we all like it. Number 17, we got His Three Daughters. It's on Netflix, and it is fantastic. Carrie Coon, I think, is the standout in this movie for me, but I mean, you could easily fall back on any one of these, three gals' performances, because they are fantastic. I mean, it really has been a year for, well, the past 2 years, really, for Marvel actors, breaking out of their shells and actually giving us good performances. So yeah, great film. Number 16, we got Babygirl. Another great movie with more great performances and a great story and a great soundtrack. And that is the key. And it is amazing. We like it. And it's good. And it's fun. And it is amazing. And you should watch it. If you're a certain age. All right, we'll keep going. 15, we got A Different Man. Great performance by Sebastian Stan in this movie. I mean, absolutely terrific. He may get my vote for the Golden Globe, but we'll see. And let me know if you want a video on the Golden Globes. Also, I mean, I easily could. I mean, I'm not able to watch all the movies, but anyway. Oh yeah, the great movie here. 15, number 15, Different Man. I mean, what's not to love about this movie? Enough said, really. Number 14, we got the Bikeriders, Mike Nichols' film about gun control. And if you have seen it, you're probably like, gun control? What? And that's the subtext. At least that I gathered. I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't really looked at anything. I just kind of interpreted it as such. But he, like they say, the new members of the biker gang are following the rules that the old guys put in. Like, yeah, the Constitution, Second Amendment right to bear arms, and then the leader gets shot by a gun, and so yeah. But it's a great film. Great performances. And there, I said it. Number 13, We Live in Time. Again, fantastic performances by the two leads. It's got a good story. It's very sad. I almost cried. I didn't actually, though. So that's that. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a soul. Number 12, we got Nosferatu. Again, just, a film with like the only reason that you could not like it is it's just not your thing. And it's kind of my thing. So, Number 11, we got Kinds of Kindness. I really like Yorgos Lanthimos' style in the anthology format. I think it works really well, and I think all the performances in this film are also fantastic and amazing. And yeah, just a great movie. All right, number 10, we got Juror number 2. I mean, this is just absolutely an amazing movie. And it's number 1 on Max right now, so you probably have seen it. And really the only reason it's not probably top 5 is that I couldn't see it in theaters. I mean, I have no idea why. They shelved this Clint Eastwood masterpiece, and released it on Max, but I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And 2 of the most likable characters I've ever seen in a movie. Oh my gosh. Talk about a good performance, right? But yeah. All right, number 9, we got Anora, another film that's just, perfect. The only reason you couldn't like it is because it's not your thing. And I don't know, it's probably not a lot of people's thing, but it's a great love story, and it's fantastic. So check it out. And I like the broadened message of anyone being able to fall in love, including prostitutes, but I think that's swell. All right, number 8, we got Sing Sing, another movie I didn't really expect to be all that fantastic, but then I watched it, and then it's like, it's like listening to the Beatles for the first time. But yeah, I mean, just an amazing movie based on a true story with, I believe, real people playing themselves in the movie, and yeah, so it's really great. Yeah, you should check it out. All right, number 7, we got Dune Part 2. I mean, you've probably seen it. It's Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi epic sequel to Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi epic, and it's even better than the last. So enjoyed that. Number 6, we got Saturday Night. I love SNL. I love movies. I love this movie. There you go. It's a great combination. I know, good performances and all that, and a great production design as well. So number 5, Gladiator II. Great, spectacular film. I love Ridley Scott. I love the original Gladiator. I love Paul Mescal. I love this movie. Number 4, Furiosa, a Mad Max story. Again, Fury Road is one of the best movies ever made. This is the sequel to it. Fantastic performances and amazing action sequences, and it's great. All right, number 3, we got A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie. I mean, I literally had chills watching it. I listened to all the songs that I knew were going to be in it because they released a soundtrack before the actual film was released. So I listened to the actual Bob Dylan songs preparation, and they kind of cemented themselves like within my soul, and so it like just absolute like shivers whenever when he starts singing "The Times Are Changing," that'll get you going, man. That's powerful stuff. All right, number 2, Alien Romulus. I mean, good lord, is that a good movie? I mean, like you really could not make a better Alien movie. I mean, from the ending, the last 15 minutes or whatever, to the actual spectacle of it, and how it's just like how they use so many practical effects, and I love practical effects, and the storyline, and yeah, and the visuals. It's great. And number 1, then this is kind of you may consider Alien Romulus to be number 1, but experience at IMAX, Queen Rock, Montreal. Now this technically had already been a thing, but it was not in IMAX until 2024, and I saw it in IMAX, and I also bought the DVD this year. I could go get it actually, but I'm not going to. And yeah, there it is right there. I think I actually saw this on the 14th, but maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. I could be. Yeah, I might be. But yeah, I love Queen. It's pretty simple. Like a lot, and to see them playing live, like right in front of you, like you're actually there, is something that I would not give up for the entire world. I mean, it is amazing, especially a band like Queen that has such a big stage presence. Yeah, so that's my number 1 movie of the year. Uh, bye bye for now. I'll either see you in just a couple of days if you guys really want Golden Globes predictions or not for the movie categories, or I'll see you in March for the Oscars. So yeah, bye bye.